Regular or 4 stones for a create our own. And regular it is. Alrighty. Someone shout out a coordinate. R16. Then C3. Let's stay within the 3-3. D4. Then P17. Then D15. Regular type opening. So this is really the first time in the game where we have anything to question. So we'll start checking it out here. J3, C6, J4, J4. Okay, so we have pinches and an extension. And what's the criteria? How do we decide if we're going to pinch or extend? The only question is, I'm assuming that it's safe to pinch. That's the assumption, which it is. Then the question is, which side is bigger? And clearly, white, check it out. White structure is very pleasant, right? All these stones are working together very well. What's black got to compare to that? Nothing. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's game losing, but clearly the bottom's bigger. So then it's which pinch? Now to answer that question, let's change things just a little bit. I'm going to put here, and let's ask the same question, because in both cases, here or here, white has 2 stones prepared for the bottom. Do you understand what I'm saying? That these 2 stones are in a relationship and they're prepared to deal with the bottom area, as are these. So black's play will be the same type of play. Okay, so on to the pinches. We had 3. Let's put in the 4th one just for the heck of it. I think it should be high because it affects the hole at Q5. Hi, hon. Are you alright? Are you alright? Okay. You okay? I'll be about 30 minutes. Okay, I am back. I think you should pinch high because it affects hole at Q5. I don't understand that at all. What hole at Q5? In the actual game. I see. Interesting. Okay. There's a lot of things to read through here, so instead of reading them, let's look at the basic. There is a basic way of looking at this. Boy, that was hard to say. So let's look at D. This is a very common pinch, not in this situation, but generally speaking, very common. A read. So this gives white an excellent pinch. White has territory in the corner and is virtually creating more with the pinch. It may not be literally cash, but an excellent pinch. Now, I'm going to change the Shimari to a simple 4/4. Now white doesn't have points and isn't creating more. So nothing special here. Does this make sense? Okay, so this is the basic way to look at it. Now in my mind, this is true of this situation or this situation. In the same way, white's building something very attractive. However, white wants to pinch, low's fine, whatever. So instead, we put in a much safer stone. The two most common are E and D. E is for stability, being on the third line, very far away, hard to attack, so it's safe. We also play fourth line. We know that fourth line is easier to run, and we're putting more pressure on white. So a little more pressure, easier to run, or a little less pressure, easier to get healthy. There is another move here. No pinch at all. Now black has me up. Black has come inside white's area and will survive just fine. But it's a one-purpose move instead of two-purpose move. In other words, it's not a pinch as we come in, it's only coming in. Still 6 or 7 on me. So Kim Boy says, since we're aiming at this, wouldn't it be nice to start perhaps here, something like that? I don't think so. Now, Kim Boy's actually fairly strong, even though he hasn't played in a while. This certainly affects Q5. This somewhat, because all the black stones can touch. They're all working together. So this affects the area. This one, I would say, doesn't, and this one certainly doesn't. Oh, good. Got your 3 Dawn back. Good for you. So I wouldn't worry about Q5. I would just play D or E depending on my mood. But you guys can vote. The D variation, that was it Emerus that said that? Emerus, was that you that said that? Do you have control? Can you show me the variation you're speaking of? For any latecomers, we're not having an actual lecture tonight. It's canceled because of all of the Congress games. I figured everyone wants to watch them, so we're just having a fun little half hour to not feel so bad for missing. I mean, I enjoy them too. Okay, taking control back. So Emerson is talking about this variation. It's a reasonable variation. And that black stone feels a bit tight. I'm not concerned about it, but if we're concerned, we can come over here. Let's look at the same thing. This does not affect black half as much. Abydos has a question. Abydos, you have control? Can you form the decision or ask it? That will work. Very safe. Black's group on the bottom is safe as is. I don't even mind giving white a little more strength because I feel my black group on the bottom's quite adequate. Yeah, this is fine. Ever so slightly better for white, no big deal. I mean, white's the one who should be doing better here. So we're going to vote on, let me get rid of most of these, just go with the regular ones. E, D, and we'll add 1, because I don't want to go back to the A. Everyone likes D, which gives white that L4 pinch, which I think is fine, but it is pleasant looking. Okay, but most people say D, so we'll go with D. And it's my move. What do I want to do? I want to go here. Square for black? There's only one answer. I figured you're all going to do it. Yes. We'll play out Joseki. Okay, square for black. Kim Boy didn't like my variation. Is N4 greedy? N4 is plain bad. Let's look at N4. Huge gap right next to a big gap. This is going nowhere fast. Now, if instead Black saw his way to tightening it up, if he thought perhaps that was Sente, and then, you know, build something, okay, maybe, but again, it's kind of not really points, so why are we doing it? Okay. Someone said N3. Subpar for right. I'll take that as a slap in the face. Why not add pressure to the top? Awkward. I need some coordinates. Someone said M3. I think they said M3. R12. G17. F4 is too low. There is no F. Q5. Okay, let's check these out. Let's start with C. Can someone tell me if C is good or bad and why? Now it's Black's move. Let's not forget that. C is bad. Why? Because the top is low. That's one of the last places we want to move in the opening because no one can develop there. Right. Now, if, let's say, for instance, that we had this exchange. Oh, well, maybe I'll go this way then and make a change and build something. Because it's not just the top, it's an entire Moyo type thing. I'm not saying these are good moves, but I'm simply drawing a basic picture, you know, so we can see that the top can become big, but it's not big at the moment. Joseki choice is always big. Black can choose Joseki. Okay? And it's his choice. He can, you know, pinch, go on the outside, go on the inside. So if he thinks there's something special there, something beneficial, he can just do that. Just for the heck of it, this Joseki will get the outside. There's nothing going on the outside. Any of the pinches develop the top. There's nothing to do up there. Corner pretty much just stabilizes for equity. Equity is not special. That's equal. So I don't see anything particularly good to do for black or white, so I'm not in a rush to start Joseki. Now, I don't know if that makes sense to you, that whole Joseki choice deal, but in my mind, that thinking process very much increased my game. Starting around 4 or 5 dan, I really started getting a sense of correct Joseki choice, and it totally evolved my game. I think Joseki choice is tremendously powerful and important in the higher levels. Okay, so we're not going to play in the upper left at the moment, or at least unless we get a vote on it. B, big, but not B. Let's look around B. Big, but one purpose. Why are we playing a one-purpose move? We don't do that in the opening unless it's unusual. This one also doesn't affect white very much. So if we're going to play this move, go all the way and affect white. If white does some defense, we can do some defense. Our shape is better than his. If he does some sort of coming in, then he's got two weak groups. So we go all the way, so we're growing and affecting. Does that whole B concept make sense? Okay, good. Someone talked about A, which surprises me. I think someone relatively strong, a couple strong players mentioned it. This is a real misdirection. Clearly, black is suggesting at least this type of point structure, right? You see the structure black is suggesting. You're all with me on this? This is black's sketch, as it were. And it's not points. He has, not only is there too much space in there, but there's serious oji in there. So white could, for instance, just say, sorry guys, it's not points. Black says, oh yes it is. No, it's not. Not points. Sorry. I mean, you can't take it. Now let's change that a little bit. This also is not points, but we long for white to try to live. Now it's scary. If white goes for life, let's have it this way. Great. Look at the points black's getting into. He's getting a whole structure on the bottom while white is trying to survive. Right? So then, if it's big enough, then white has to come in and we get to chase. So that's different. But this is not big. This is small and thin. So that's not big. D, big. No. Let's look at A in regards to, is it sente in the corner? We'll just play here. Actually, not a horrible move. I don't even think this move is sente. Why was it? Is white going to die? No. Is black going to get a ton of points? No. Oh, but he removed white's points. Well, white got to play away twice. This is not the bottom right, white has this really long low Chinese move extension. That's not points. Matter of fact, if white plays there, it's still not points. If we want this to be points, or at least treat it as if it were points, then we want to tuck R9 up to hate that. We want to tuck R9 up to R8, then it starts becoming cache-like. I'm still not convinced it's cache, but it's too early to come in and take it away. So no, I don't think it's sente. May I suggest that black threatens the double approach at K16. Did you just say play this? Let me get on the right button. Play this move, which sets up Miai. I'm still on the wrong button. Keep pressing the right button and it doesn't go there. Okay. Someone might be suggesting this sets up Miai. If white plays this, black gets a double wing. If white plays this, black's pinch has become perfect. So yeah, that's very reasonable. Is it 5 spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4. We might put it one more. No, actually it's in a good spot. Shy, I meant A was Sente for white. No. E is Sente-ish for white, not A. My plan when I started this was to get around to E soon.
So when, I don't want to be a little cruel, but I better not. When certain parties suggest that my variation, opening here, wasn't great, I don't think they realized that black's extension towards the bottom is no good, but white's extension to E is excellent, which is why I think this is a perfectly valid. But that's what from there. So it's black's play. I like someone's idea here. It's one of the last big opening moves, and it sets up neon. I love it. Yeah. Good move. So let's remark some things. And that will be remarkable. What else? About it, really, huh? A and B. And E7. E7. Let's talk about that a little bit. Okay. We can find various ways of making a sketch here and creating an attractive bottom area. I live very close to San Jose, 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, depending on what part of San Jose. So one might think, hey, this is working out. Clearly it's not cash, but again, it creates a difficult situation for black. The problem is, in this situation, black has no reason to think that his bottom area should be developed. It has an inherent weakness for cash, meaning it's hard to make into cash, and black is going to go out of his way, giving white profit in order to create something that is not set up for it. On the other hand, the shamari in the upper right is something we like to grow off of, and this does create something very natural and easy. So this double wing is based on something existing that's appropriate. The other one is based on, it has an inappropriate base. It's hard to develop the bottom, but is J4 useful? It feels so awkward. Let's just talk for a moment about this bottom left Zdzieli. I think we're all familiar with this Zdzieli. We've seen it many times. And there's 6 pinches that black can play, right? All the pinches come up with the same Zdzieli. Now there's other Zdzielis also, but this Zdzieli applies to any of the 6 pinches. And in all 6 cases, black's fine. He doesn't have to play another move. So it's not that the G-stone or any of the other pinches become awkward. Everything's fine. When our opponent comes close, we may want to do some fixing here. And it gets turned into cash. He approaches, can fix, get very strong. We can still ignore and be okay, but it's getting, the more we ignore, the more problems arise. But as let's answer that. Let's see. Okay, here's an example where J4 has served its purpose. It's forced white down to the second line, which is not something we like doing in the early opening. So, good enough. On top of that, later, black has more things he can do here. We probably all know this variation. And we can continue using that stone as time goes by. So it's been of good use, and it has a good future. But on our board, oh, I got there. The G stone is not like that. It's actually helping the group. So if we remove G, it becomes a weak group. Okay, so let's move G to the weakest possible spot, which is F. That's the furthest away and highest, meaning it's affecting the F3 stone the least. So this is, of all the structures, this is the weakest possible one of the 6 pinches. So let's just assume for a moment that white starts running out. And let's play this. There's so many variations. I've gone over this with professionals so many times, and I'm still confused about it. I mean, literally, I've gone over this with 4 different professionals many times each, and I'm still confused about it. I hate saying that. It's embarrassing, but okay. So let's go about this in a very straightforward fashion. White runs out. Black runs out in Sente and continues to run out. White says, oh, but I'll just run out to safety. Fine. Well, black will settle over here. As a matter of fact, let's do it this way. Like this. Well, white will just run out. Fine. Now the left's being punished. Well, we better do that again. The left still gets turned kind of dramatically. What's black's problem? Where is the problem? There isn't one. Also, white does have a problem. White has a weak group behind enemy lines inside black's sphere of influence. So, the only time to worry about these structures is when white comes near. So, for instance, white plays here. You need to make a decision. Is it time to grow it with A? Is it time to play A and grow it? Well, there's an awful lot of space to think about growing. Is it time to play B and tidy things up? Well, that K4 stone's quite a ways away. It kind of sounds good. You know, there's different thoughts about it. You know, when white comes close, then you make a decision. Okay. So, back to the game. Well, actually, we're just coming up on our half hour here. And I noticed I'm in mode and I'm getting tired. So, thanks everybody for coming to our non-lecture, which was free, and we all had a good time. And you can thank 2 people, Z-Dog, that's Z.D. Zdzieli, whatever his name is, and Floss. Those are the 2 that were going out of their way to come, and I didn't have the heart to say, no, it's not happening. All right, catch y'all later. Bye.